The hallway is empty, almost intimidating. Nomiya's office is the art classroom at the other end of the third floor hallway. Our steps echo disturbingly. The atmosphere is unlike... Sorry, I scratched my back. It was out of camera. Our steps echo disturbingly. The atmosphere is unlike on a normal afternoon. Feels like the school that nobody will be coming back for a month, too. Only a month for summer break. That's disgusting. The door is open, but not very inviting. I'll wait outside. Nodding barely noticeably, Rin strides in without stopping, and naturally without knocking. Yeah, duh. Maybe that's why it takes a few seconds before I hear the teacher's voice from inside. There you are. Hello. Conflict arises. Should I stay here or go somewhere else? Not sure if I even want to eavesdrop on them. Manners lose to curiosity, so I stay close enough to listen in. Their voices echo in the hallway, but no matter. There is nobody around save for me. Dear girl, what on earth were you thinking, leaving like that on such a big night? I couldn't say anything. Compared to Nomiya's scolding tone, Rin sounds awfully quiet and withdrawn. Her words seem to drown under his. I have to say, I'm very disappointed at you, Tezuka. It was no good at all. Never mind all the things I did for you, but what about Sai? What about all the guests who wanted to meet you? There was nobody, even Hisao. You have embarrassed us badly, Tezuka. Reputation is what counts, surely you know that. It's alright. I don't need it. Don't need? What do you think you know? Rin's replies only seem to agitate the teacher more, his voice rising with every sentence. The path of an artist is a thorny one, I'll tell you that. Thorny! You have to see the big picture. There will be bad times and good times. Things are like they are. It'll be alright, even... You might now think that that's oh so wonderful and easy, but how far would you have gotten without me? I won't always be there for you. When you lie on the floor with your... What? When you lie on the floor of your minuscule room, your rent 3 weeks late, your mind blank for the 4th week, Jesus, straight, then you'll wish that you had listened to old Nomiya a bit more. When you keep measuring how the shadow of your chair becomes longer over the spring, that's because of your lengthy lethargy allows, maybe that's when you'll start caring about your career. That doesn't matter. Your resolve is not enough. I'm not a resolved person. You are not a resolved person. Then tell me, why? Why did we go through all this trouble if it amounts to a mosquito shit? Oh dear, the teacher blew a fuse. Oh my god. Yikes, things are getting a little spicy. Him yelling at Rin makes me feel bystander's guilt. If I had gone in with her, maybe he wouldn't have gotten so angry. No, he wouldn't have pissed at me, bro. He would have been like, you did this. You fucking got her off of her path, or whatever. If I had not let her run away, he wouldn't have gotten angry in the first place. I still could go save her. I don't think I can. It was the same. I yelled at Rin too, and I'm feeling all the more embarrassed about it now. I felt justified to vent my anger at her face just because I felt it was her fault that I was so frustrated. I was no more justified than the teacher is. Terrible silence sits upon the hallway. Rin does not have anything to say to Nomiya. Whether she has run out of answers or she knows that arguing with him will only make him angrier is anyone's guess. The teacher has nothing more to say either, it seems. Maybe he just ran out of breath. For a moment, I imagined the two of them just staring at each other. One full of red-hot anger and the other full of... Yes, what? I can't tell how Rin feels, not before and not now. Teacher seems to expect Rin to say something too, but she doesn't. And he finally continues in a quieter, but not less angry voice. What worth is there in doing so much work if the outcome is nothing? Still, Rin does not say anything. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have got so excited. He does not sound sorry at all. Rather, his tone is cold and sharp, like he was spitting out the words out of his mouth. Seems that I was expecting too much. You're not an artist after all. Yeah, not sorry at all. He storms out of the club room, downstairs, without noticing me. After he is gone, I peek carefully inside the classroom. Rin is left standing there, in front of the teacher's desk. I couldn't say I'm sorry, she says into the humid air of the classroom, not to me. But since the room won't answer her, I will have to. That was unfair of him. He was angry, but still. I can't decide how to end my sentence. Disdaining the teacher feels like disdaining my own behavior from 2 days ago. Stupid, but correct in hindsight. Rin won't answer, staying petrified where she stands, so I walk up to her. She stood up for herself, in a way. I didn't expect that. I can't determine whether it's unbecoming or not, but either way, she did it. Against me, she never did. Sort of wish she had. Maybe I would not feel this bad then. Lately, it seems that I've been wishing all kinds of these things. Rin? Go away. Why? What are you saying? You're angry with me too, right? I thought you were my friend. I thought he was too. Her voice is unlike I've ever heard. It's bitter, sharp like needles, and she says, staring pointed at her toes, I don't think it's about that. He wanted you to become something you're not, and I take a deep breath and finally catch her eyes in my own, locking our gazes. I'm sorry. I wanted us to be something else too. More than friends. Maybe that's why I couldn't contain myself and become so frustrated. Just like the teacher did. What more? There's nothing more to me than me. That's all I am. I don't understand that. Well, the answer should be obvious, right? I remember myself thinking of the purpose of friendship, to put something with everything and anything, to be there for your friend. Did I fail as a friend, thinking it could be a stepping stone for something else? Yes. Maybe because of those thoughts I didn't manage to put up with things, to keep it together. As outrageous as Rin is and was, I shouldn't have let myself get caught into that. Especially when I started feeling the way I did towards her. So, did I fail? That's where I seem to ask. I'm sorry, Ren. I might not be able to be your friend. Why are you saying dumbass? I don't think I could ever be a good friend to you. I say these things because they are true, not because one of us would like to hear them. But they are something that must be said. The finality of my words creates a shaking silence, for what could either of us have to add to that? Why? Why does all this happen? People are doing things I don't ask for, and don't want, and everyone keeps getting angry at me, and I have no idea what's going on anymore, and I can't stop feeling like I want to run away from everything. She shuts her eyes tight and breathes out deeply, calmly. When the eyelids open, I can see the dark green desperation. I have no idea what's wrong with me. Her frenetic outburst stupefies me for a moment, and a heartbeat. We just gaze into each other's face. Seeing her confused eyes desperately looking for answers from mine only makes me sad, because I know I have none. I don't know either. But, you yourself said things are not right nor wrong. They just are. You either accept them, work to change them, or give up. It's not that I hate you, or that teacher Nomiya does. I just think that I'm the kind of person who gives up when he feels he can't go on. And even if you hate it, this is how things are. I'm saying pretty cruel things, but I can't stop myself. The words keep rolling off my tongue with slow, hard certainty. I can see them hitting Rin almost like physical blows. As the wetness gathers into the corners of her eyes, they are still wide with the shock of rejection. Bro, it's not that hard. You just have to be friends. As the tears start rolling down her pale cheeks, she does nothing to stop them. She can't. She doesn't have arms. As they fall down to the floor one by one, she stands still, staring at me with a gaze full of hollow disbelief. Reality catches up. Rin slumps forward as if she was deflating and buries her face deep in my shirt as she can. Oh. Rin is heavy and feather light when I support her weight. She doesn't really sob or bawl. She just leans against me and letting her tears burn through my shirt into the skin underneath. And I let her, bringing my hand around her shoulders into a clumsy hug that does no good to comfort her. I can feel Rin's vertebrae against my fingertips, like hard, jagged reminders of how messed up things are. Her slim shoulders quivering against my palm in a pitiable sight, and the hopelessness of being a part of the cause for Rin's sadness keeps shredding my heart. To make a girl cry is the most despicable thing to do. Even Rin. Especially Rin. Behind the veil of aloofness, Rin is just a human being, just as confused, scared, and lost as any of us. Most of the time it seems that there is no rhyme or reason for what Rin does and says, but for once, I think I really understand how she feels. But no words can express it, no words can make it better. So wordlessly we stay, quietly waiting for her tears to run out. Time passes agonizingly slowly. Even the specks of dust floating in the air seem to pause and into a standstill. The obligatory wall clock ticking distractingly above the door. From above the door. I decide against counting the seconds because it would make them feel longer. Eventually, Rin stirs a little and, still smothering herself against my chest, mutters into my shirt. Let me be here for a while. Please, Asao. Just give me a little while. Soothing deluge spreads into my consciousness. The knowledge that while being here for Rin is all I can do for her, is all she says she wants right now, even after all we've gone through. Sure. So she stays there, but I still can't bring myself to draw her closer so I can embrace her properly. It's because doing it would just make me so sad that I don't know if I could bear it. The realization that we might never really be able to become what we want to be for the other crystallizes into my mind as a diamond-hard enlightenment. A pang surges through my heart like an electric shock. It's painful. This clarity hurts. What can we do for each other? What can we be for each other? What meaning is there for us to desperately cling to each other even though it seems so futile? What should I say to Rin? How can I make her feel better? I do not know any of those things. I fear knowing them would only hurt more. Forcefully, I push all of that out of my mind because I don't want to be thinking of hurtful truths. My thoughts calm down soon enough. The sadness disperses until all that's left of me and Rin is the tender feeling of her warmth and softness against my chest. When did I fall in love with her? I can't remember, but I'm certain it was way before the warm touch of her lips on my own, on that orange-colored afternoon when she was sick with the cold and I went to see her because of unclear reasons. Her carefree attitude, the air of the otherness around her, all things that make Rin herself. Those things captured me with an irresistible force. The way she could take anything in and everything, giving it only the value... The way she could take in anything and everything, giving it only the value she herself placed, weighing all things fairly without prejudice, seeing them as the world she wanted. This is something I could never do, and Rin was probably more of a muse to me than anything she ever was to her. She seemed so free to me, truly a free spirit, while I, constantly worrying about everything, seemed so inhibited that it was almost embarrassing. Maybe that's why I latched so tightly onto Rin, trying to get inside her world that was so different from my own to break life. Before I noticed it, that irresistible force had pulled me dangerously close to her, but it turned out to be way too alien for me. And I'd forgotten Newton, of all things. The gravitational force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the objects. What the fuck does that have to do with anything right now? So if two people feel something for each other, even though feelings are not governed by the constants of the universe, I can't help thinking that for some time now, I've been a satellite to Rin's brightly shining planet. Planet Rin. The thought makes me almost laugh. I just realized my color has been wrong this entire time. Because I was playing a different game. Fuck. Whatever, these last episodes are blue. Fuck with it. Oh man, whatever. Planet Rin. The thought makes me almost laugh. She really does seem to be from another planet at times. Minus green skin and possibly some tentacles. It's a different game, my guy. Perhaps, because of my stifled laughter, Rin pulls away and I let her go. Rin pulls away and I let her go, feeling the cold when her warmth goes away, and slight embarrassment for letting my thoughts run wild like that. I credit that as Rin as a bad influence on me. while being glad at the same time that she can't read thoughts for real. Rin's bitter tears have dried up, and she looks a little bit more like herself again. The lost look in her eyes is still there, though. Her gaze wanders around restlessly before stopping at me. What happened just now? Can you tell me? What do you mean? I cried. She says that hesitantly, if not believing it herself. Yes. She keeps staring at me. You've cried like twice or 3 times already, right? She cried like while she was sleeping in the classroom, and then like again, I think, later? Whatever. She keeps staring at me, as if pleading guidance so that she wouldn't have to feel so lost. Why? You were sad. Is that what you want me to say? Because isn't that obvious? I don't know. It feels weird to cry. What? I don't believe it. I mean, everyone does that. It's not... I bite my tongue before I finish my argument about normality. Norms do not apply to the person I'm talking to. It always felt so wrong. Different from what is in me, like I couldn't really tell what I felt. So I'm starting to think that maybe I don't know what I'm feeling. Maybe it's me who's wrong. I thought those kinds of things. I thought that painting was enough because it felt like at least I did that right. That's all that's inside of me could become a picture if I tried really hard, and it could. But it doesn't feel like that's enough anymore because nobody else can see that. I'll still be alone. Was it wrong to try? Everyone got really angry at me for that. I rarely heard Rin say this much at once before. What do you mean, rarely? She talks all the time. When she talks, she says it in these long, drawn-out sentences. What a weird thing to say. When she finishes, she simply shuts up, looking so neutral that it's hard to believe she just said what she did. I don't know what to think. Rin was desperate for someone to look at her paintings and somehow see right through them into her soul, to understand her feelings, because she felt that she could not express them in any other way. How can one say whether that is right or wrong? Could it be that all this time she's been trying to reach out to me like I've tried to reach out to her? Yes! Idiot, yes! I sit down on a desk to think, to rest my legs that kept us both standing for a long while. This is gonna be an explanation. I need water. My throat is killing me, bro. You know, when I read a good book or look at a starry sky or whatever, sometimes I too feel something profound, like a... Shoot, I don't know how to describe it. I just reset the music. But the instant I try to put it into words, I feel that I lose something. It doesn't feel real. As true as it did inside my head. Feels a bit phony. Damn, even what I just said felt phony. I offer a smile that is meant to be between funny and self-deprecating, but Rin doesn't react. Anyway, it might be that nobody can ever express their true feelings so that others can understand. Reality has no chance of living up to what someone has inside their head. Nothing can match that, not even your paintings, except maybe for you. But I suppose you can't keep everything that's inside. You'll explode for real then. What I'm trying to say is, I don't think it's wrong to express your feelings, even if you use paintings as your conduit. You just can't expect people to understand you any better than they would if you did it any other way. In fact, you can't expect people to understand you at all. It's because everything is so subjective. You see the world the way you do, but it's not any different from anyone else. But isn't that terrible? I guess it is, in a way. She frowns, looking probably as stricken as she can, which is not much, but it is something enough for me to understand that Rin is not particularly happy. I think it might make me sad after all. Yeah, I know. I wish I could do something to help it. I don't think I sound better, even though I am. A little. This is my problem. I cannot be what Rin wants for her, and the same reason she can't do the same for me either. She makes a difficult face, carefully trying to pick the words she does want to say. So Rin has times when it's hard to say anything, too. It can't be helped, I think. But if you say that, it makes me feel a little better. It's funny how seemingly irrelevant things are the most significant ones at times like this. Like how Rin's voice is very, very small, but audible when she says that. And how even her short bangs can cover her eyes when she looks downwards. And how they can't cover how deep red color rising in her cheeks all the way up to the tips of her ears. Oh, she's blushing. Oh my gosh, she's actually blushing. That's so cute. They turn into a very interesting shade of red. A deafening silence follows. It's very awkward, as if I saw something that wasn't meant to be seen, even if it wasn't on purpose. I don't know what to say to that, but I keep feeling like I should know. She doesn't either. Still, feels that there's no momentum to lose, even if we keep silent. Like we have some weird, wordless connection that we hold even so. Rin keeps shifting her weight from one foot to the other restlessly, looking everywhere around the room except me. She is the one who finally breaks the spell. Can we go? I don't want to stay here. Oh, yeah, of course. Where? My reply is covering my nervousness as badly as her question is covering hers. You can go wherever you like. I want to sleep. I haven't really slept for a few weeks. Feels like there's a flock of light blue butterflies inside my head. Makes it hard to think properly. The kind that you think is too blue to really exist. Like Emmy's panties this morning. Seems like a weird thing to bring up. She shakes her head. And I almost expect a couple of ultramarine colored morphos to pop out of her ears. A small smile tugs upwards around the corners of her mouth. That reminds me. Blue, not the panties. The word for a flock of butterflies is a swarm. I looked it up. We just called them a flock of butterflies too, so that's kind of... I guess flock is more of a general word. That makes my eyebrows rise into a questioning arch. Why don't you use it then? I like the other word better. Why look it up in the first place then? Then you should use it, right? She nods and falls silent, her gaze escaping mine to the side, attracted to the dark orange sunlight refracting from the windows. We stay like that for a little while, me silently looking at her, silently looking out of the window. Hey, you alright now? She glances at me from the corner of her eye, looking wistful again. The sunlight's reflection does not betray any more of her inner feelings. I'll need to think about that. I want to continue this conversation, grasping at those straws and that she finally revealed to exist. But Rin is looking out the window so absent-mindedly that I know she won't be unresponsive in any way that would make sense. It's like some kind of defense mechanism of hers to avoid being sensible. Her mind is like a butterfly in itself, always fluttering somewhere, anyway, whenever it's stirred. Just when I thought I could see behind her veil, she jumps out of my reach, again. That's just how Rin is. Maybe that's something that I should just accept and get some peace of mind. Okay. I'll walk you back to the dorms then. Thanks. Really. The empty hallways of the school, devoid of its students, feel very lonely. Less than 1 hour of summer vacation began, the buildings seem to be deserted, and all that intrudes on the stillness of the hallways are our footsteps. The change is sudden, but it shows how the building is just an empty shell, dead without its students and teachers. It's as though the school has become a private world for only the two of us, a desolate place filled with the silence and chalk dust. I think I have to change. She says that out of the blue when we walk down the staircase to the 3rd floor, still managing to feel like she's mirroring what I was thinking just before. That's what people must do sometimes. That's the last thing we say to each other that day, even though there would be so much to talk about. And even those words drown in all-encompassing silence, disappearing into the stagnant air as if they were never said.